I'm currently kayaking and rafting the 225 miles of the Grand Canyon in Arizona, USA. You'll see a little bit of the canyon wall behind me at the moment. And I'm with a group of people I've never met before, and we are travelling by boat, obviously, and then camping in tents or in the open air at various places along the banks of the Colorado. It's fantastic, but there have been some slightly scary times. And one of these such instances reminded me of the adult learning cycle. 2 or 3 nights ago, we camped further back up the river. That's telling me it's time for tea. So 2 or 3 days ago, we camped further back up the river, and we had a torrential rainstorm in the night. A few pictures I hope to add to this blog, but the guide was saying it was an absolute rarity, particularly in June. And when I woke up, I found that the rain had come off the canyon walls and had completely taken away the sand from either side of my tent. And this was in the middle of the night. It was still raining, and I was quite concerned. So up until that point, in terms of the adult learning cycle, which was developed by someone called Taylor in 1968, I was in equilibrium. So if you were to draw this, you would have equilibrium at 12 o'clock if you were at 2 o'clock. What then happened for me, if you then put another line at 3 o'clock, you would have disorientation. So I went into a position of disorientation, because what happened was I was in a situation that I hadn't come across before. I was actually a little concerned for my life. And so I found myself in a situation which I didn't know how to cope with. And that's when we get into that disorientation stage. Our emotions take over and it stops us thinking things through properly. If you then put a line at 6 o'clock or a title at 6 o'clock on this little model, it would be exploration. And then at 9 o'clock it would be reorientation. So what happens in that disorientation stage is we get very confused and don't know what to do. And I was very worried. I even thought about putting my life jacket on and sleeping in my life jacket. But I took a step back and thought, right, let's think a little bit more about this. Let's be a little bit calmer about it. And I thought, well, the guides, if there was a real problem, the guides would have come to spoken to us and let us know about what was going on. But nobody had come. I went outside, I tested the ground around my tent. It all seemed fairly secure. I didn't think any more was going to go. And so I then considered that perhaps it was safe to stay where I was and go back to sleep, which is what I did. So what I'd done is I'd actually gone through the exploration stage and I'd gone into reorientation, because what had happened was that I had considered my emotions and feelings through that disorientation. I'd explored where they were coming from, why they were there, and I'd reorientated in terms of I was happy with the position I was in. I'd learned from the situation that everything would be fine, and I would get back to the 12 o'clock position at equilibrium. Now that's a fairly minor example, but very often when you're managing groups or managing teams, then people go into that disorientation stage. Very often they can be angry at other people. I wasn't angry at the guides, but I could have been, irrationally so. But people are very often angry at the source, or they're upset, and they will act in a way that we don't necessarily usually see them acting in that way. Now, what a lot of people tend to do is go straight from the 3 o'clock point to the 9 o'clock point and go to reorientation, because they want to get rid of those negative emotions. They want to settle themselves, ground themselves. The problem with that is they will not sort the problem out. They'll not have addressed it, and they'll not learn from it. They need to go through that 6 o'clock stage to actually explore what the issue is and explore their position and how they've reacted. And very often they'll need someone to help them through that. If you can do, then they will have learned something about themselves and about the situation, and will probably be more effective in that and other situations again. So the big issue is making sure that somebody doesn't go from that 3 o'clock position in the disorientation, straight through to the 9 o'clock reorientation without going through the exploration stage. And that is the adult learning cycle.